Very well.
Hey Nukkadites, time for Group B now. This is actually kind of strange for me because this is the third game I've commentated on tonight. I did the first game first, the last game second, and I'm doing the second game third, and the third game last, so I'm very discombobulated. I wanted to work out a dual commentary with Ranchin before he went to bed. It was about 3 a.m. when we did the commentary, so very funny commentary, very funny game, Stork versus Quanro. Look forward to it! But we're into Group B now. This is ZerO versus Pure on Fighting Spirit. I talked a little bit about this matchup in the latest SC2GG Daily Word segment. I would actually recommend reading that before you watch this game because I talk about what the outcome of this game might be. But hey, I'll repeat a little bit of that inside the commentary for those of you who didn't read it. Going to find out the outcome soon. 3, 2, 1, 0. Like I said, Fighting Spirit is the map, 4-player map. Here we go, colors and positions. Looks like Pure is blue, so he's down there at the 5 o'clock position, and up at the 2 o'clock position in Beige is ZerO, scouting diagonally so he can find that probe. But yes, these two have faced off recently. That's what I talked about in the Daily Word segment. They faced off recently in the Pro League. Pure lost, but I think a loser gets more from the match than a winner. Of course, they don't get trophies, and they don't get as many fans when they lose, except for some of the older players, but yes, I think the player that loses gets experience. They get experience, and they learn more about the game by losing. So that's why I think Pure is in a much better position right now than he would have been before that game in the Pro League. Because he can study that replay, he can get the timings down, figure out how to defeat ZerO. But of course, Pure... That's why I'm so conflicted about Pure. I think he's in a better position, and I think he is capable of taking down ZerO. But looking at his most recent game against Zerg in the OSL against Yellow, he played very, very stubbornly. Very stubbornly. Even though it was obvious that Yellow was going for an all-air build, well, I guess obvious to the viewers, maybe not as obvious to Pure. It seemed that he was playing very, very stubbornly. He went for a ground army, even though, Yellow had blocked himself in with so many Sunkens that there was absolutely no way he can get out of his base with any other troops other than Mutas. So he ended up switching into Guardians and completely destroying the new bases of Pures. So that kind of pig-headedness ended up taking the game from him. But I know that Pure is capable of some pretty stellar play versus Zerg, looking back to his Hyuk games. I mean, Hyuk's not the best player in the world. We thought he was for about a week there, but yes, he's still Hyuk. And Pure, he did very good against Hyuk in a 3-game series. So his mechanics are very good. Pure's mechanics are what keep him in tournaments, I think. But, yep, Pure looks like he's going for a standard Forge Fast Expand. I am getting instant messages from people already. Should have signed off AIM. Let me type back to this person while these Zerglings are coming up. You can tell I always keep up professionalism in my commentaries. Oh, my AIM windows froze. Of course it did. But okay, the Zerglings coming down the map, and I think the cannons are going to warp in time. I know at least one will. One cannon is going to warp in time for Pure. So before things heat up, actually let's find out if these Zerglings will get by. I don't think ZerO is going to be able to get by. He's pulling back with his Zerglings already, trying to go after that probe now, so the probe does not scout what he is up to. It's very standard these days to go for that kind of overpull build that ZerO did to make sure the second base and the third base go down easy. So the probe can't stay in there, throw down tons of pylons, just be as annoying as probably possible. So yes, that's why ZerO did what he did. Okay, let's read a prediction. This isn't really a prediction. Well, it kind of is, but I thought it was funny. Vesuvius Prime writes, I predict someone gets hurt/sick, and Firebat Hero wins the wild card somehow, and he wins the tournament. It's the simplest, most logical possibility. Yes, I'm sure that's going to happen. So, the second and third bases coming up for ZerO. Well, it looks like the Nexus is going to come up very, very shortly for Pure. And he's going for a very standard build on a 4-player map. I think we're going to see a longer game between these two, which I am looking forward to, although on these wide open area type of maps, I think ZerO has the advantage. Pure better thank his lucky stars that he did not go up against ZerO on Heartbreak Ridge, because ZerO, ZVP on Heartbreak Ridge, almost unbeatable. He has very good strategy. He has wrung every single last drop of imbalance out of that map. And yeah, I think he can take down pretty much every Protoss on that map. So Pure is lucky in that regard. And ZerO is coming down here with his Zerglings. He's going to test the waters a little bit, maybe try to lure a Zealot out of hiding. But he has his Overlord in the area, so that's what he's going to need, some kind of scouting on that Forge to make sure the Forge is spinning or not. That is very important scouting information. The probe almost sneaking by, Pure almost bypassing the scout. I mean the Zerglings from ZerO, but ZerO very, very aware of his Zerglings at the front. Okay. What was I going to talk about? Oh yeah, I keep forgetting to change the background. I keep meaning to put down snow and Santa hats on the background of my YouTube channel. It's getting close to Christmas. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Yes, the Spire coming up for ZerO, and looks like he's going very, very standard build. You know, I helped my parents put up their Christmas tree, and I guess I should discuss this because it's very important and very relevant to this game. We have a very non-traditional family. We don't have a star at the top of our tree. We don't have a star. We don't have an angel. What we have is Boba Claus, a Boba Fett action figure dressed as Santa Claus holding a gun. That is at the top of our Christmas tree and has been for many, many years now. Don't ask me why, but yes, that is... I always like telling people that because they tend to be very shocked because they all have stars and angels. We have Boba Claus firing down on the other ornaments with a huge gun. We don't even know where the gun came from. That came from a completely different toy. But yes, back to the game. Looks like the robotics facility coming up for ZerO. Yeah, for ZerO. ZerO's getting his robotics facility up. Slap myself on the head, and looks like Pure is moving out with a small force, just trying to keep on a little bit of pressure, making sure ZerO can't do anything sneaky. And Pure is actually getting a lot of damage done with the initial Corsairs. He's picking off, going to be able to pick off a second Overlord before the Scourge come out to deal with this. And he's actually pushing the front with a couple of Zealots, coming in with two Corsairs at the same time, trying to split ZerO's attention. This is very, very smart of Pure. It looks like he's falling back. Oh, he's falling back, knowing that the egg would burst forth with Scourge. I'm not going to do my Scourge impression. Okay, I will. Okay, that was horrible. But the robotic support bay coming up. You can tell I've had too much caffeine tonight. And yes, it looks like it's going to be kind of a Corsair Reaver build from Pure. This is kind of what Movie seems to have brought to the world recently. Of course, oh, the Corsair almost going down, the Scourge barely not going down. Looks like ZerO forgot to put his Scourge on patrol because he probably wouldn't have been able to take that out. Looks like this Zealot's going to have a very short life, but the other Zealots are out front, and this is going to be a very modified Corsair Reaver build from Pure. This could be absolutely hilarious because Movie kind of brought this back earlier in the OSL against Hero, I think it was. He did that on Heartbreak Ridge, and that seems to be standard for Heartbreak Ridge these days. Go for a Corsair Reaver build. It basically makes these Zerg very limited as far as their unit choice goes. They can't really go for Lurkers because they'll have to deal with... they'll be outranged by the Reavers, so that's no good. A lot harder to fight that kind of a push off with a ton of Lurkers. Finally the Corsair goes down, so ZerO not mismicroing that time. He mismicroed time earlier, but now he's coming back down. He's going to try to fight off these Corsairs. I'm not sure if he knows about this build. He had Scourge flying all over the place, so I assume he saw that robotic support bay, and he has Zerglings everywhere. He might actually research Burrow soon, go for kind of Jaedong's old strategy of burrowing Zerglings all over the damn place. And Burrow is actually very, very nice to have against a Corsair Reaver build. You can pop up with Hydras whenever you want and tackle that shuttle. Just taking down the shuttle is the #1 priority with this type of build. He's coming down with Hydras, and Pure still pushing out. Still pushing out with his, his Zealots trying to go out there, but ZerO has very excellent micro, picking off pretty much all of the Zealots, but it looks like Pure's moving up the map with his Corsairs.